Welcome to the video where I can help you figure out if you need a game in 10 minutes or less. Don't believe me? Then stick around and I'll prove it. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and I'm so upset. My barber said he can't cut my hair any longer. He can only cut it shorter. Now then, today we're playing Ground of Aces, a city builder simulation kind of game taking place during World War II, where you maintain and control an airbase. Sounds exciting. Developed and published by Blind Flug Studios, hope I'm saying that right, AG. Released in early access and selling for $25. So what even is this game anyway, and is it even worth it? Well, let's find out. So basically, in a nutshell, this game is just a simple simulation game with city builder mechanics set during World War II. The only difference is that here you are an airbase, not a city, and you need to launch planes out to complete various missions. There's no real story here other than real life war, and now you're in charge of your own military base. An RAF base, or Royal Air Force Base. Ah, Royal Air Force Base, literally right up my alley, because, you know, I am a king after all. So let's quickly get into this game so you can figure out if you should invest in it or not, alright? So let's talk first about the good things I discovered, and I'll first mention the graphical style. The overall style here is very pleasant and charming. It's got great color choices as well as attention to detail and good contrast. It's got the whole comic booky feel to it. Like, I really love it. Overall, the look of the game is just great. I don't want it changed at all, and I think it works perfectly for the type of game that I'm playing. Next up, I've got some beef with the sound design. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not horrible or anything, but I've still got some complaints. When you can actually hear something, it's great. The music sounds perfectly cheesy for what you're doing and what you're experiencing, and I consider that a good thing. The problem? Well, it's super loud and obnoxious and blocks out everything else, so make sure to turn its volume down way low. The sound effects, when you can actually hear them, this time not because of the music, but simply because sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not. But when they are there, they sound pretty good, and there's no voice acting, which I feel was a missed opportunity. I mean, we don't need a lot, just a little. Hell, I'd even just appreciate having some mumbling in the background from my troops, but no. Nothing. They're all super silent. You control a base of mutes, apparently. Let's talk gameplay next. This is the crux of what you're going to be doing for hours on end, so it's got to be good, right? And that's the main question. Is it good? Well, yes, and also no. So it's a classic city builder formula, right? You have workers who need a place to relax, a place to sleep, a place to eat, food for them to eat at that place to eat, something fun to do at that relaxation spot, beds to sleep on at that sleeping place, etc., etc. You need to build the buildings to put things in, you need a storage area, and a list of comparisons between this game and RimWorld becomes so frequent that let me just say, the gameplay is pretty much just RimWorld during World War II with plain mission mechanics. If you've never played RimWorld, then what are you even doing with your life? Go play that immediately, forget this video, forget this game. Now, if you have played RimWorld, then you pretty much get the gameplay components down to a T, which means it's pretty good. There are a few differences here. For instance, you have missions you can send your pilots on, but I have a few issues with this, and here's a recommendation from me to you, game devs. What an honor. But for who? You or me? Guess we'll never know. Anyway, team, basically, if you really want your game to stand out, and if you want it to go to the next level and have some more depth to it, then you need to put in a bit more of extra effort, right? You got to create anywhere from maybe 3 to 5 little repetitive video cutscenes and have them play in a little box for every mission your planes go on. Like, it could just be a little TV screen off to the side of the player screen that pops up, and they can choose to watch it or not, and it shows the type of mission they're on, and it'll show a failure or a success vid. You know, just a small little repetitive clip, all right? Make it a little bit more interactable. Because right now, it's boring as hell. You just send your planes on a mission and then go back to managing the base. It's so boring, it takes you like 3 seconds, you barely notice it, you barely get anything from it, and it seems like just a side note to a overall just city builder game, and oh look, planes. So it just kind of feels wasted here. Anyway, so you get to send your pilots on missions, and you do get these little victory points, which you can use to hire more people for your base or recruit newer, more advanced planes. But you also need bigger and fancier runways that can recruit and hold bigger, fancier planes along with the victory points, which these planes will overall eventually increase your odds of completing missions, more difficult missions or whatever. Meanwhile, you have to manage your base, and it's a pretty standard and average affair all around, and it definitely has some issues, but we'll talk about those later. Overall, the gameplay is just a bit average. It's not really doing anything that interesting or unique or new. It's the stereotypical gameplay components we've seen time and time again. Now, if they added some more stuff to it and more depth to it, then it could be kind of fun and different. For instance, the fact that your base will randomly get attacked by German planes is kind of cool. However, because it takes so damn long for people to actually build anything or harvest anything, it becomes increasingly frustrating when those attacks happen because it sets you back, and not in a good way, but it does need more stuff like that. Also, maybe have your base actually react when it's being attacked. I see no difference between what's happening to my people and what's going on in my base from their normal daily life to when they're being bombed. Or not even bombed, it was just a strafing run, I guess. Apparently they're not bombing us? I don't understand. Also, maybe make the game feel a bit more dark and distressing. I mean, this is World War II from the perspective of an English airbase. I mean, do you know how depressed and hopeless and worried and scared and nervous they were? I mean, it was hell on earth for them at the time. Yet it doesn't really feel that way in the game. It feels all happy-go-lucky and laid back and blasé. You know what I mean? The music doesn't help with that at all because it's the thing that's making it feel happy-go-lucky. And the morale of your base is super easy to keep high as well. Now, the gameplay is not all bad and just needs some tweaking, but it's very slow, very mismanaged, and overall I found myself really bored because I was simply waiting for my people to do anything. I even hired 3 more guys to help with the chores around the base because they were taking too damn long and it didn't help at all. So, I don't know, maybe the pathing needs to be better or the overall process just needs to be a bit more streamlined. I mean, the game gives you like 12 different bare resources to manage, then each of those can be turned into a refined resource or 2, which adds another 12 to 24 refined resources you need to manage on top of the 12 basic ones, and it keeps going from there. Totally at most like 36 different resources you need to manage, and I'm pretty sure I missed some, and that's just a bit too much in my opinion. It's not necessary for this kind of game, but that's just my opinion. The problems with the gameplay ultimately come down to lack of streamlining and lack of information, which I'm going to go into next. Because up next is the user interface. I'm going to be honest, I don't really like it. It's a bit all over the place and super annoying. It's hard to navigate, hard to find things. Sometimes tooltips cover up other tooltips, like when you're going through your building menu. If you want to go back a single step in the building menu, because you got to go here, then here, then here to find what you're looking for, right? But if you want to go back, you can't, and instead, it just takes you out completely. Meaning you got to go back in, navigate to where you were again, just to see the tooltip, which was previously covered up by another tooltip earlier. It's a giant mess and definitely needs to be cleaned up some. Also, some tooltips are just missing in places where they're needed. I got these little error blips all over my base, for instance, but I have no idea what they mean, and I can only guess. I think this one is missing a required resource. I think this one means that this item is about to expire, but I don't know, and the game doesn't tell me. I think this is bricks resource. I think this is tarp resource, but again, the game doesn't tell me, so I'd like to know, and it definitely needs more work. The next thing I really want to bitch about is the tutorial. I hate it. Now, it does have one. I will say that before I go further. But I hate these kind of tutorials. Just walls of text without any real images or videos or steps to do or a how-to or quests or anything that shows me step-by-step how to learn the game. And don't get me wrong, I understand some people don't like tutorials and they like to jump in and figure it out on their own, but that's not me. I want to know how to play the game so I can actually get into it and start doing what I want to do with it. So just have an option to do a tutorial or don't for people who do or don't want to do it. But without a tutorial, I'm legit fumbling around in the dark here, just vaguely understanding what the game is telling me about all of its many components of running the base. So I barely know what I'm doing and still struggling to figure out everything, and I hate it. And last but certainly not least, let's talk about the stability. Surprisingly, the game was super stable. It ran really well, very smooth without any bugs or glitches that I could find, other than a few frame rate drops here and there, which never lasted for long and were hardly noticeable. Overall, the game ran smooth as butter. It was just super stable, really well done, and it was a very nice change of pace for an early access game. I don't see it often. So you might have noticed I structured this video a bit differently, and that was intentional. I'm trying something new, so let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Also, a friendly reminder that these videos are designed to help you save money and time, but they can't do that if you aren't notified fast enough. So make sure you go down there, you scroll down, you hit the notification below the video, so you can always be informed, alright? Alright, so let's move on to my final thoughts. Overall, I complained a lot about the game, but do I think it's a bad game? No, I don't. Not really. I also don't think it's a great game, but, you know, I think overall it's an average game with a cool idea that they really should dive more into. You know, there's not a lot of games out there like this in terms of, like, what they're trying to do here. I mean, there's plenty of city builder simulators out there, and that's kind of the problem. I love the idea, so I'd love for them to shy away from the city builder and move closer to the war simulator side of it, you know, because there's not a lot of those kind of games. There's a plethora of city builders out there, but not a whole lot of these kind of games where you're looking at the simulation of a resource or a faction of or a troop type in during a war, right? There's not a whole lot of simulators focusing on stuff like that, so I would love for them to move more towards that and make the base building city management aspect maybe a little bit more, you know, a little bit less, you know, shy away from that. Because I ultimately came here for the war simulation side of it, not the city builder stuff, because I've seen those 100 times, but this was something that looked like it might be different. But honestly, I think for an early access release, it's not a bad investment. I mean, it is early access, so it's obviously going to have some issues, which I'm not all that upset about. I do hope that they make some adjustments to really help the game stand out, but overall, honestly, it just looks really average in pretty much every regard. It's not doing anything intuitive, new, or unique enough to stand out and bring it to the limelight. And that's a shame, so I hope they change it and add it and maybe change direction of it a little bit. But it's not offensive, it's not super broken, and it's not a ripoff. Overall, it's not really doing anything inherently wrong, so if you are interested in the game, just keep in mind of what kind of game it is. More on the city builder, less on the base war simulation, alright? But yeah, I don't really have a recommendation specifically for this game. If this is what you were expecting, then yeah, go ahead. I hope you enjoy it. It's not broken or awful, please enjoy. But if you were like me and maybe hoping for something a bit more war-oriented, or maybe something different from a city builder, then perhaps look somewhere else, as this game focuses way more on the city simulation builder aspects than on any of the being involved in a war aspect, alright? Alright, so that's my recommendation. But that's all the time I got for this video today, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, with a special thanks to those of you who stuck around to the end. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.